Well, great. Now that you've all had a chance to look at the list that I gave you, and you've all selected at least 3 dietary changes that you can make to help protect your brain against dementia, we're going to move on to my 5th strategy for healthy aging. So I want to ask this audience here, I think I know the answer, but do any of you smoke? No, I didn't think so. Okay. But guess what? You have been engaging in an activity that is more harmful to you than smoking these last 30 minutes. And I'm going to share a secret with you that won't even take an hour a day, but will help add years to your life. And what I'm talking about is sitting behavior, sedentary behavior. And that's something that is really becoming a public health problem in our country. This is the amount of time that we spend sitting, watching TV, on a computer, commuting back and forth to work. In fact, the average American adult spends more than half of their waking hours sitting. The number 1 leisure activity of older adults, the folks that I work with, is watching television. So how could something as innocuous, as harmful, or as harmless as innocent as sitting all the time, we're not talking about sitting and eating, just sitting, be harmful to your body? In fact, how could it be related to several of the conditions that we dread as we're growing old? I'm talking about dementia, depression, diabetes, obesity, heart disease, premature death from all causes. Well, there is a physician that's been affiliated with the Mayo Clinic. His name is Dr. James Levine, and he has studied the effects of sitting behavior on our bodies for several years. And what Dr. Levine's team has decided or concluded is that our bodies are built for movement. If you think about it, up until the last couple centuries, we ran around a lot. And just recently, relatively recently, we've started engineering all the movement out of our lives. So Dr. Levine's team has concluded that if you sit for long periods of time, you're actually telling your body to shut down, prepare for death. Nothing's going on. You don't need us anymore. Contrary to that, if you are getting up and moving, just by the sheer fact of holding your body weight, within 90 seconds, several beneficial chemical reactions start occurring that actually begin pushing blood sugar and blood fats into the cells where they can be used for energy. And if we can make this process happen over and over again, it's actually going to help protect us from diabetes and obesity. Now, the term the new smoking with relation to sitting time was actually coined in an article that was published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine. And they looked at how sitting time affects our longevity, our lifespan. And the conclusion was that for every additional hour of television you watch after age 25, it cuts your lifespan by 22 minutes. Now, that might not seem like very much, but compared to smoking, each cigarette cuts your lifespan by 11 minutes. So put in that context, what you're doing right now is twice as harmful for your health as smoking a cigarette. So what can we do about that? I mean, a lot of people are still working, even though you might be a baby boomer, you're still out there working in the workforce, you have to sit all day. You might have a long commute, you might enjoy binge watching your favorite shows on TV. And it's just as simple as getting up and moving. But it's not that simple, right? Or we wouldn't be talking about this. So what I do when I work with my clients is I help them figure out strategies, ways to get movement back into their life so they're not thinking about it. It's not something they're going to dread. It's not like, oh, I have to get my 30 minutes of exercise today. Something as simple as starting to track your movement, your steps. So I recommend that my clients get a pedometer or a fitness tracker. I have a Fitbit myself. And just see what your baseline level is. How much activity are you getting or not getting during the day? And then start giving yourself goals to increase by 300 to 500 steps per day with the goal of getting to about 8,000 to 10,000 steps. Now, if you're short like me, that's about 3.5 miles, but my husband, who's a lot taller, he gets about 5 miles with 10,000 steps. Other things that you can do, I had a client who was in her 80s, not tech savvy at all. So what we did until we could find a cue to get her moving once an hour was she just went in her kitchen and she would set her alarm on her microwave for 60 minutes. and then she'd get up and she'd move around a little bit. And that worked for her until we could find something that could become a less intrusive part of her life. You can walk while you're on the telephone. You can get up during commercials, walk around a little bit. I mean, there are dozens of tips to get you more activity in your life. My goal for this talk, as we've gone through these 5 strategies, has been to give you tips and tricks that you can use to improve your life.